Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for sparing time. Lieutenant General Narasimhan, coming to you first, sir. This terror attack and the timing of it, few weeks before the G20, what is the sort of messaging these elements are trying to put out? And more importantly, the modus operandi, the manner in which it has happened and the details that have come out in the public domain so far. What do they tell you about the attackers? What's your assessment, sir?
Firstly, thank you for having me on this show. And secondly, my heartfelt condolences to the families of the martyrs who lost their lives yesterday in this dastardly attack. Two things. One is, there was a ceasefire that was actually existing between India and Pakistan for a while. That seems to be that seems to have been put in the back burner with this particular incident. Second thing is that because yesterday I was told that the visibility was poor, there was thundering and lightning happening in that area.
Yeah.
That also would have probably increased the intensity of the damage that occurred to that vehicle and the people who are traveling in it. That is the second thing. Third thing is your reference to the G20 meeting that is going to be held in Srinagar sometime later. That, yes, there may be some aim to probably derail that meeting, but I think nobody should have any doubt that none of these is going to none of this is going to affect our resolution to hold these meetings there wherever it has been scheduled. The fourth thing is that the way the attack went, firing was reported. Also, a grenade has been thrown inside the vehicle is what is being told. So if that is the case, then it is a very well planned kind of an ambush, which had taken place, which is not new in mountainous terrain in counterinsurgency operations, which is quite the way the attack is generally done. This is something that we need to be careful about, and we can be rest assured the security forces will be careful in handling the issues from here onwards, and also I'm sure the Indian Army will ensure that the loss of lives do not go in vain.
Mr. S.P. Vaid, we spoke yesterday as well when this unfortunate news had come out. I was talking earlier with Mr. Narasimhan about the messaging that these terror elements are trying to put out, whether it's the overground workers, the underground workers, this terror nexus. It has been a very tedious task for the security forces to break down this network. To what extent we've been successful and what is still more left to do? Pakistan is in a bad shape economically and politically, yet they continue to have, the terror elements continue to have cross-border support.
See, the issue is this. This is a low-cost option which any country can actually follow, because if you go for an all-out offensive, all-out kind of a conflict with another country, it is going to be extremely expensive. This is a low-cost option. That is one. Two, insurgencies all over the world, like this, what is happening, and the terrorist kind of actions that are happening in J&K, all over the world, they take a lot of resources. They take a lot of time and effort by the security forces to neutralize them over a period of time. It takes very long time. Look at our Northeast, has taken from 1956 onward, it's still going on in some form. Many countries have suffered this. So what I am trying to convey is, this is a very, like you said, it is a very, very tedious process. It is an extremely slow, grinding kind of operation. As one figure, it takes 1,800 odd man hours to locate a terrorist. Far less neutralizing him subsequently. So it is that kind of effort that is required to be put in to neutralize this kind of a warfare. So what you're saying is right. It is slow. It is grinding. It is really, really demanding on the security forces. When I say security forces, it is the army, it is the police, everybody else put together. So it is going to be a very long drawn effort to control this particular kind of operation.
Dr. Tara Karta, coming to you, various experts pointed out yesterday that because the security is very tight in the valley right now, in Kashmir right now, a lot of terror groups, their networks are shifting their base to Jammu and targeting sensitive regions. They're wanting to expand their base and their foothold in various regions of Jammu. Should the agencies be alarmed?
The thing is like this.
Would definitely have.
Yes, Dr. Tara, yes.
Yeah, I mean, given that the G20 meeting is coming up, the intel agencies as well as SF, everybody must be already on their toes. I think every single input would be carefully sifted through. And we saw actually since January, this area has become active. So there has been, though the level of, incidents are still low, they're still very, nowhere comparable to what it was in the worst years. But this area is definitely getting active. What the problem I find is, is that we might, we go through the cycle, right? They attack and then we go through, like as General Narasimhan said, we go through the counterterrorism, all that, and it takes lives. Our people's lives are being lost. But internationally, there is a sense that, this is what Pakistan does. That has to stop. We have to, however much we are shouting at the top of our voices, this is a terrorist infested country, this is a country which has been doing this all this while, people have somehow become accustomed to the fact that this is how Pakistan is expected to behave. I don't know how we got here. It is unacceptable. A country which harbors such kind of operations is completely unacceptable. That is the bottom line. And especially when it uses terrorism so-called terrorism from India to justify its internal politics. You saw that also happening. When you had the DG ISI and people are not briefing the Chief Justice of Pakistan.
A crucial G20 meeting is scheduled in Srinagar. Do you think that this entire terror attack and its shadows are going to affect the perception of the world? Because India has been trying to make efforts on the ground for development, for taking normalcy, as much as to the widest possible extent. All of those efforts on the ground in the public discourse, how would they be affected by this attack?
I think this is, in relatively speaking, this is very far away from Srinagar, right? It is nowhere anywhere part of that area at all.
Yeah, but in terms of creating perception,
however, a fact that we have been suffering this for years, so that everybody knows. So I don't think it will adversely affect the G20 meeting at all. In that sense, unless they will continue to try, you have to expect that this will continue. This kind of incidents, they're going to try every target of opportunity that they get.
Lieutenant General Narasimhan, unfortunately, as Dr. Tara pointed out, this is not the last attack that has happened. Our Jawans have been sacrificing their lives for decades to keep the Valley, Jammu and Kashmir region safe and secure. I asked this question once again on the broadcast today, to what extent we've been successful, and perhaps this is the last leg of the battle and how difficult it's going to be.
You see, insurgency in Kashmir has been like a sine curve. It keeps going up and down. There is a period which was the peak, then it came down, it again went up. This is going on. Ultimately, what we need to understand is the solution to this has to be political. So that political thing, Pakistan has to play a major role in coming more than halfway to do this, because they are the ones who are actually doing these kind of activities. So till the time that political solution comes, this is going to go on in some form or the other. The intensity may go up, intensity may come down, but we need to be prepared for a long drawn kind of a thing, and that is going to continue, and we need to handle this. That is the way I see it.
Yeah, that's the way you see it. Mr. S.P. Vaid, when it comes to the overground workers and the local support to these terror elements, this has been an uncomfortable reality, which has been always an open secret. And in fact, in the latest crackdown, a lot of overground workers and underground workers, or both of these elements were targeted. To what extent Indian authorities have been successfully able to disseminate or perhaps completely kill this network that has existed? I'm talking about the local support and to what extent it has been disbanded.
See, it has been weakened quite a bit. The security forces which have been operating there since 1989 have got almost the entire area mapped out, and we exactly know who are the overground workers, who are the underground workers. That is very clearly known. That is the reason you find the incident happened yesterday, and within a period of 24 hours, you are able to round up people who are suspects in this particular heinous crime. So that is a very well done thing. But the issue is that you also should probably notice that the support for this kind of a movement has come down quite a bit. If you take your mind back to 2010-11, there are a lot of these stone throwing incidents, etc., which happened because of the overground workers coming up and supporting this movement. That is no more there. So similarly, you will find the effectiveness of the overground workers is also reduced considerably. So I would say that to a major extent, this has been controlled. But I would say the underlying elements will continue to be there till the time the solution is found.
Till a solution is